Okay, Cabin Fever 2 takes off right where Cabin Fever 1 left off. Which is weird because Eli Roth seems to have this really bizarre knack for trying to keep continuity. Now, Hostel 1 and Hostel 2 you can watch back to back. Same with, Cabin Fever 1 and Cabin Fever 2. The guy who you thought died at the end of Cabin Fever 1, he's actually alive, but the disease is pretty much killing him. So as he's running through the forest, he's leaving bits and pieces of himself everywhere. So you actually get to see where the water went to. There are two really bizarre cartoon cinematics in this that kind of help explain a little bit more of, the water went from here and it went to here. The virus went from here and it went to here. One in the beginning, one in the end. So the water bottles show up, of course, the day of prom. Day of prom, day before. So you get to follow, high school kids with the typical Eli Roth dialogue where, everyone's essentially cussing each other out in the hallway the whole time. Primarily centers on two males. One kind of timid, the other is the more outlandish, over-the-top one. So what you see in most high school-based movies, where you've got the one who's kind of the timid, nice guy, another one who is the unabashed prick of the movie. Now, I was explaining this movie to my wife, and when you essentially have a virus transmitted by water, and you have this water being used in lots of things, because it's at a school, lots of people begin to get, really bizarrely sick. So a lot of people are getting sick, a little bit of blood, a little bit of gore. And then when it finally gets around to prom night, you've got people all of a sudden begin to start coughing blood. There's a scene where a guy who's a chubby chaser convinces the school's, I'd probably say, train and a half woman to get naked. This is a distance shot, but you can tell she's naked. They then have sex in the pool. He asks her if she's on her period because there's blood. No, she's not, just a virgin. She chips her teeth on his shoulder and begins to cough up blood. He essentially kind of leaves her in the pool because there's blood filling the swimming pool. So there's a lot of blood in this movie. A lot. Is there a scene that eclipses the finger banging scene in the first one, or the razor blade scene? No, not really. This one is opposed to going for some slower and some longer cuts. No pun intended. This one goes for a lot more blood and a lot more gore. The more outlandish of the two, he received, I'll just call it Revenge Head, earlier in the movie. And he later finds out that he is severely infected in the genital region. Essentially, it's kind of like his members falling apart. Of course, they show this. It's Eli Roth. The other guy, who's actually the nicer of the two, realizes his arm is infected. And of course, most of what trying to do, he goes to woodshop and has his girlfriend, not girlfriend, help him cut his arm off. They then try to use, a blowtorch to cauterize the wound. And that's when her ex-boyfriend shows up and kind of bashes in the back of her skull with a hammer. So now you've got, angry ex-boyfriend beating up recent partial amputee as well as his girlfriend. And by this time, pretty much everyone in the prom is liquefied. Yeah. And while this is going on, the cop from Cabin Fever 1, the one who would like to have, let the party, man, party's awesome, with super underage girls, now realizes that, it was in the water supply and is trying to figure out what he can do to stop this tainted water from going to places. So essentially, it is a gore bloodbath. And then, of course, it ends with this girl at a strip club So the one who gave Revenge Head earlier in the movie is also a underage stripper. And she is plying her craft as, like, her face is kind of falling apart. She vomits all over a guy. Some of the commentary of the other people is great. There are these two guys, and they're subtitled. And the guy was like, you don't throw away a whole apple because of one little bruise. Talking about the girl who just projectile vomited onto a guy. You then treat with another cinematic, which more or less shows, you know, the virus being spread from there to, like, New Orleans, and from people who do activities in New Orleans, to, like, an infected dollar bill, to just traveling essentially all across the United States. So if you're a fan of, like, the Eli Roth sort of over-the-top dialogue and gore, this is what kind of works. You know, if you're an Eli Roth fan, this one does satisfy your craving for everything that Eli Roth likes to do. Anything original? No. This is actually, I think he originally wanted to do Cabin Fever at a prom, but instead it actually got done in a cabin setting. So it's violent, it's gory. Not like Cannibal Holocaust or, you know, this is like that standard, here's lots of blood, here's some vomit, here's some body parts. So it's not bad, it's watchable. You know, if you're an Eli Roth fan, you can watch Cabin Fever, then this one, and you can pretty much call it a night. Same thing with like Hostel 1 and 2. If you like that sort of movie, this actually works. If you think something's got a little more originality to the plot, has dialogue that actually seems like what people would be saying, takes it a little bit more seriously than less kind of like gore bordering on comedy, probably not for you. Personally, having liked the first one, this one actually works as a decent bookend to it, and takes the open-endedness of the first one and actually gives it some level of finality.